Hey, what's up, everybody? BBL44 coming at you in another video. All right, Laker fans, we got some issues, man. Some ones that we didn't expect. Not only do we have Anthony Davis with the eye injury, who I'll talk about in a minute, but we also have the Rockets on a 5-game losing streak, 3.5 games behind us. Winning streak. That's the point. Winning, not losing. 5-game winning streak, 3.5 games behind us, with 4 bad teams in a row to play. That's the problem. They got the likes of the Wizards, Portland, Grizzlies, teams that they're going to beat to play next. And as bad as we're losing, and with Anthony Davis possibly out, they could actually catch up with us with like 15, 16 games to go, whatever it would be. It's reasonable to think that they could be hot on our tail. Not only that, but we also have an issue where we did not win the tiebreaker against them. They won the season series 3-1. So that is a real problem. Not one we need to poo-poo. While we thought we were the lowest we could fall was 10, now you're looking at a situation where you got a new player in the game. And that player is the Houston Rockets team. I told y'all that I would not be surprised if they go on a big winning streak at some point in time in the season, because they're so much better than the team that they were using the majority of the season. Well, now they're using those young players. Remember when I told you guys that I thought some of the bad teams would start using young players? A team like the Rockets using young players makes them significantly better. That's the only people who didn't know that were them. Playing people like Green and Holiday and Brooks. I believe that's Holiday on that team. Those guys are cool, like, you know. But I don't know. I'm not talking about Jalen Green. I'm talking about Jeff Green, old man Green. Still has something left in the tank. He's not out of the game or nothing like that, but they're not better for using those dudes. They're better for using Amen Thompson, Cam Whitmore, Jashawn Tate, Terry Eason. Now, Cam Whitmore's been out for a couple weeks. He's going to be back. He hasn't even been a part of the winning streak. I'm telling y'all, the Houston Rockets are getting better. Fred VanVleet is an NBA champion, a real one. Jalen Green has turned into a superstar since Drea says she's pregnant. Like, literally, he's been balling, like stupid balling, 36 points type stuff. So, you know, Sengun has stepped out, but with the depth that they had, they needed somebody to step out. Now you can move Smith, Jabari Smith, 2nd overall pick last year, very good player, defensive-minded, 3-point shooter. Yeah, you can move him to the center, and now you got more time to play Terry Eason. Now you got more time. I don't even know if Terry's actually out there. He might have been hurt too. But that's the point. They have so much depth that they probably needed addition by subtraction. You still got Dylan Brooks running around down there, who has the right attitude for a playoff situation. You still got so much you need to worry about in regards to that Rockets roster, even though Sengun is out for the season. I'm telling y'all, I am telling you, that the Houston Rockets are a legitimate candidate to catch up to the Lakers and surpass us, especially if Anthony Davis is not going to be returning anytime soon. Now, I do have some good optimism for that not being the case with Anthony. And that optimism is from Brian Sutter, Dr. Brian Sutter, who left some information there for us after the game in regards to the type of injury that AD has. And essentially what he was saying is he doesn't expect, unless there's some unexpected complications, he doesn't expect AD to really miss any time with this injury. He said that the type of scratch that AD was described to have taken on could heal up in a day or two. Like, literally could heal up in a day or two. And that's including the understanding that it swelled up after it happened. So if his prognosis of that is correct, and he's who I go to for all the stuff, he's very good about these type of things. He was the one that told us that Jalen Brunson's knee injury wasn't serious. Jalen Brunson had 2 40-point games last I checked in a row. So Jalen Brunson is fine. And when he makes mistakes, he has let us know that he's made a mistake and done do-over videos to assure that the information he gives to the public is what it is he can stand by. So that gives him a lot of even more credibility with someone like myself, who doesn't want to think that everyone believes themselves to be perfect, especially when they're talking about prognosis and diagnosis and things of that nature. If you make a mistake, we need you to come back and tell us that you've done that. And he's done that. So I trust Brian Sutterer. I encourage everybody to check out his content. He always is right there for every injury in sports right after it happens. Fast. So I'm a big fan of what he does. And he said AD's injury is likely going to heal up overnight. Like basically, you just, because you have so much moisture in your eye, that moisture should otherwise help process the healing, just like saliva does. If you apply saliva to some certain things, certain cuts and things like that, it's going to allow you to heal quicker. That's why inner mouth wounds tend to heal up in a couple days, because that saliva serves as a healing mechanism for the body. So with it being his eye, if it's not anything super complicated, it should heal up. And the good thing about this is, let's say he misses the next game, we're off for 3 days before we play again. So he will, unless there's some real complication of any kind, he'll be back by Friday. So that's what I'm certain of. They may let him sit this one out just for precautionary reasons. We do play tomorrow against the Hawks. So I can see them sitting him for that one, or asking him to wear a mask, goggles or whatever. But other than that, shouldn't be an issue. So that's the good news about AD's injury. It's not going to be something that we have to worry about as much if everything is on the up and up as it pertains to the type of injury that he's expected to have taken on there. So that's the good news. But Lakers still got a lot of problems, man, as we can clearly see. That game last night was an abomination on many fronts. Our defense was horrible. Our rotations did not supplement the problem very well. I think hindsight tells me that maybe I should have put more of an emphasis on us using the center that we have. Harry Giles, that we picked up for that reason, just so that we can have some backup centers to play in event that AD goes down. And Darvin doesn't want to put him in the game, man. I'm telling y'all, man, I've said so much about how tired I am of our coaching situation. I've said so much. And at this point, you just want to see what the team's going to do, It's not even about necessarily knowing how to approach what to want, is what I'm trying to express. I don't really know what to want. Because if Darvin is able to get us into the postseason somehow and have a nice long postseason, then the want is to win. And if he can help us do that, then otherwise he shouldn't be a problem, right? Because the moral of the story for the Lakers is not the regular season, it's the postseason. So if we can get in there, that's great. But how you manage the regular season does determine on how likely your postseason possibilities are. And right now we're on the brink of possibly falling all the way out of even the play-in tournament, depending on how good the Rockets play over the next 2 weeks and how poorly we play. So, and a lot of other factors as well. Dallas and Phoenix in there as well, Golden State. They all could have potentially fall out if the Rockets push up. But we're the one that's most likely to, given the fact that we're the one tied for 10th place with a more strong schedule than the other team we're going up against, who just beat us last night in the Golden State Warriors. Our schedule is tougher than theirs, so we're most likely to fall. And I think there's a small part of me that says if we do fall out, it leaves the Laker front office no hope of Darvin being a good coach for them going forward, and they will be forced to fire him, which I think in that event could be something to celebrate given how bad he's been. But just like I said, I'm not rooting for him to fail. I'm rooting for him to succeed. I just don't believe we can succeed with him, but that doesn't mean he can't prove me wrong. So it's like, let's just wait and see what happens, man. The only intelligent thing I can really say about us is that our team is not very good right now. We can't sustain without a center. We did go out and get Harry Giles. He didn't even check him in the game when it made sense to do so. This is why I didn't want us to go off and trade Jalen Hood-Schifino for a center like somebody suggested I saw on the platform, or different stuff like that, because you just don't know. Even if you make the transaction to get a center, coach may not play him. And if he doesn't play him, And what good is it on your team? And that's kind of what we're seeing in a lesser degree when it comes to Harry Giles in this situation. You need Harry Giles. You know what I mean? You needed him in a game like last night to come in, give some energy, rebound, dunk the ball, just put another body out there. And he just didn't care to do that for whatever he thought reasons, whatever. You know what I mean? I'm trying so hard not to be just flat out rude and disrespectful, but for whatever reasons, you know what I mean? He had them, and there weren't reasons that we could really align with, because quite honestly, we don't know what they are. Why didn't you play Harry Giles, coach? You know, so these type of things, it's like, all right, man, well, I'm not looking at Harry like he's a world beater, but I do know he got about 5 rebounds, 5 points, and maybe an assist in him in that situation. Can earn his opportunity. You know, maybe, I don't know. That's what we signed him for, you know, type stuff. So it's like, I don't know that there was a way for us to get a center responsibly and know the answer to that. You mess around, get a center expensive, and this guy didn't play him, and then you look even more stupid for adding that piece. Dwight Howard, you know, it's one of those situations where I looked up today, I saw Dwight Howard's post, and he was showing us a bunch of stuff that he did in a Laker uniform. He put some song on there essentially saying he ready. I looked at another post he had. He looks like he's in fantastic shape playing overseas. I understand he got a lot of stuff attached to his name that don't have nothing to do with basketball that people probably want to shy away from. But if I'm being real, it's not like any of this stuff that we're seeing in regards to that is going to be any different than the stuff that we understood that could have been possible last time we had him on the team. I mean, if I'm being real honest with you guys, nothing that came out about Dwight Howard surprised me at all, fam. I thought that some of the stuff that was said about him over the years was true. I thought he showed us some things that made us understand that he might have some alternate ideas about how he wanted to live his life and some reckless ways about handling certain things off the court. I had already thought that about him. It never made me not want him on the team. The only thing that made me not want him on the team was the idea that he could be washed and can't help us. But I don't know. I haven't been wrong about that every time I told y'all that Dwight shouldn't be brought in. Now that I'm looking at what's going on now and look at how things have gone, honestly, I don't think it would be the worst idea to bring him in for a workout right now, try to help us on a 2-way contract, fam. I don't think it's the worst idea. Even if he's washed, even if he has nothing, quote unquote, left, you may need him more than you need Christian Wood sitting on the sideline, not being able to play. You understand what I'm saying? Christian ain't came back. Harry, they don't want to play. You know he's better than Harry. No disrespect to Harry, whom I think hasn't had a chance to prove himself, but he's better than Harry. And you know what he brings to the table, Dwight. So at this point, I don't think we serve to lose anything for making a decision like that, especially when it's so desolate out there for the big men. You know what I mean? And we're in such a dire need for a big man. And we were so successful with Dwight last time we had him on the team. You see what I'm saying? I thought that DeAndre Jordan was washed when we got him off the team. He went vegan and has won a championship since and had massive games with the Denver Nuggets in pockets of the time. So it's like, some stuff is not about what's conventional, because this generation of guys that were born in the 90s and 80s have proven that they can last a little longer and contribute a little more because maybe they took care of their bodies a bit more than some of these other dudes. Maybe they're a little more athletic than some of the dudes that you're studying in that way. So for me, I look at Dwight Howard and realize he's been taking care of his body his whole career. And the last time I saw him, he really was helping the team. We didn't use him correctly, and we disrespected him by not playing him. But when he did play, he played well. I didn't think otherwise. I thought we were worse of a team for not playing him, and used to complain about it a lot. You see what I'm saying? So at this point, knowing that he's still playing basketball overseas, has been the whole time, he never stopped playing, being fully aware of all the different stuff that's going on around his name, that I genuinely don't think is positive, but also don't care because I didn't find myself surprised by any of those things when I heard them. If anybody in our locker room got a problem with Dwight Howard, they're certainly not going to bring it up to him at this point when we need what he brings to the table. I just don't think it's a whole lot of downside to bringing him in. It's sort of like we brought in Tristan Thompson last year. I don't see that much of a difference. Only Dwight's better than Tristan. And probably got more left in the tank. So for me, it's like, I think I might have turned the corner this morning on the idea of whether or not I bring in a player like Dwight Howard, who I truly believed has nothing left, but really didn't have a lot of evidence of him not having nothing left. I just looked at his age and just said, nah, he's probably done. Which, to be honest with you, ain't the smartest way to assess nothing. It's not. Not when we have LeBron James at 39 going 40 last night. So I think we should call up Dwight and bring him in for a workout, put him on a two-way, and check him into the game. See what happens. If we hate it, waive him. I don't see no downside to that. None. But I do see a lot. Oh, it's the bastards. I do see a lot of upside to bringing him in because he's a Hall of Fame defensive player who specializes in rebounding and has had historically a lot of success against the players we can't defend. Jokic and Sabonis. Even washed, he can bang with them. Even to wash Dwight, the body and the physique that he has, he can do a better job on them than anybody we have on our roster right now in that way, including AD. And we know this because it's proven that AD can't do nothing with them dudes. Even when everybody tells you that AD can't do nothing with them dudes, he still don't respond in a way that makes it look any different than what it is they're saying. And for me, it's like, yo, the only person who's ever proven to put on purple and gold and have any success against these type of players is the very guy that we're talking about right here in Dwight. And if he is in shape and we need what he brings to the table, there is no good reason for not bringing him in. None. And if I'm going to look up and see a center that the team doesn't want to play, at least let it be somebody that we've won a championship with who's been in 2 NBA finals and who led the league in rebounds and defensive presence back in the day. That's who it should be. With all due respect to everybody we got on our bench. If somebody going to be sitting on the sideline who we think ain't going to get checked in, except for emergency purposes, I want it to be somebody like that rather than who we have right now. And that's a new thought for me. I ain't feel that way yesterday. I feel that way right now, though. I really feel that way right now. So that's a change of tune for me, man. But that's how I feel, bro. I just don't think there's no downside to bringing in Dwight Howard for the last 15 games of the season. Plus playoffs, if at all possible. If you can't bring him in for the playoffs, then it's kind of useless to a degree. But these desperate times calls for desperate measures. And the Lakers, my friends, are on desperate times right now. These are desperate-ass times. I'm frustrated as a fan. I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel for solutions, and the best thing I see is Dwight Howard. That's the best thing I see. If I saw anything else, I might bring that to you too. But all the centers that are out there, they're not going to be able to have any success against these guys that we have problems with. And so that's what I'm saying to you guys. It just needs to be a situation where maybe people need to broaden their expectations for a guy like Dwight and give him the opportunity that maybe you should have gave him the whole time. We should have gave him the whole time. And so that's where my head is, man. I don't think anybody's gonna actually do this. I think that I'm a little late when it comes to this. If I was gonna support it like this, I probably should have did it 3 months ago. But it's just gotten this bad. That's how bad it's gotten for us. I never dreamed, put it like this. If AD wouldn't have been pushed around as bad as he was against Sabonis, I probably wouldn't be saying all this. It's because of that game that I feel this way. And it's because of Bron's timeline, which is so very sensitive, that I feel this way. You got to rush everything. You got to get, well, not rush, but you got to look at it and say, it has to be done now. Everything that we're going to do has to be done now. He could be gone next season. We got to do this now. And so, I don't know, man. Like I said, coach probably won't check him in the game any damn way. But at least he'll be sitting there in the uniform, man. And I think that that's a lot better than what we got going on right now. I really do. A lot better. Especially if Christian Wood ain't coming back, which I ain't heard nothing about him coming back. So, I know, you know, the Dwight's probably exiled out of the league. He's probably blackballed and all this other stuff. But if I'm the Lakers, I'm probably going to give him a workout, see what he looks like today. I'm going to give him a call, man. I really am. I'm calling him now, and he'd be in here by Tuesday. Probably playing by Friday, or at least in uniform, be ready to do so. Because we ain't got nothing to lose in that situation, and probably a lot to benefit from his presence, if he can do it. If he can do it. And so that's really what it comes down to, man. I don't think it's respectful for me to say I don't trust Anthony Davis, but when it comes to banging up against physical centers, it's probably best for me to bring somebody else in to do that from here on out. If I want to have any hope of salvaging the dignity of this player in my uniform, I need to not ever send him back at those two players, Jokic and Doncic. I mean, Jokic and Sabonis. Right? I need not ever send him back at them dudes. So, yeah, that's what I want to say to you guys, man. It's not looking good for the Lakers. The Rockets are playing great ball. They have a younger, more talented team right now than we do, I'm being honest. And the athleticism that they provide should push them past a bunch of bad teams. And unless something goes wrong for them, I see them winning the games necessary to catch up to us. I really do. Looking at their schedule, looking at how we're playing, they should catch up. There's just enough time for them to make up that difference. And we are just bad enough to drop the games necessary to let them do it. I really believe that. And so, yeah, man, I mean, you know, we do not want to be in the position we're forced to be in the play-in tournament. I don't think we can get above 7th seed at all at this point. I don't think the 6th seed is even reasonable to think it's possible now. In fact, it's probably more likely that the Rockets catch up to us than we do catch up to the Kings or whoever's in 6th place right now. And so now you're talking about possibly having to beat the Kings if they fall, beat the Suns, who's proven they can beat us now, beat Dallas, who's proven they can beat us as well, who have the centers to give us problems. Like, I don't know that I'm not looking at a team that's not going to make it out of the play-in tournament for the first time since the tournament's inception. I mean, the Golden State Warriors beat us yesterday. They're not getting any worse. It's starting to become clear to me that we have a Trace Jackson-Davis problem. Because when it comes down to it, we also don't play well against him. He's also turning into a Laker killer right before our very eyes. And so all they got to do is keep him on the floor a bit more, and he's going to be able to have his way. That's something that I don't think people are really identifying like as clearly as I am, but that's a real player there. I told y'all that when he was drafted, 30th overall in this past draft? I told y'all, like, this dude ain't nothing to play with. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, that's Jalen Hood-Schifino's running mate, who he was running all them pick and rolls with. I think that's how that went. Probably should have took him. So yeah, man, I'm beyond frustrated right now as a Laker fan. But you know, last night's game, that came and went for me. That whole 20 minutes of nonsense, that came and went. That ain't what I'm frustrated with right now. That game was just one game. It sucked. The NBA is getting embarrassed about it, and they should be. You know, and whatever they got going on in regards to replays and stuff like that, I'm pretty sure that game was enough to make them revamp their replay process. Because a lot of that stuff just didn't make any sense. And if they go back and study that, from which I know they will, whether they want to admit it to us or not, they know that a lot of that didn't make any sense. Not only did it not make any sense, but it was horrible product. And for it to happen on ABC with LeBron and Steph on the floor, I don't know that was a coincidence at all. I don't know who wanted that to happen, But I do believe someone wanted that to happen. Wanted all of us to see it. Well, probably one of the biggest rated games in the season. I don't know what this conspiracy is, but I don't believe that was just a happenstance or a mistake or a malfunction. I don't think so. Something happened there. Someone wanted it to happen. And that's why it went the way it did, in my opinion. But nevertheless, the NBA's taken a lot of fire from it. And rightfully so. It was absolutely an abomination last night. And terrible to watch. And so that's what it is. I want to let that go and move on to the Hawks tomorrow. Salute the Kobe minute that just passed, but I'll move on to the Hawks, man. DeJounte Murray has been playing excellent basketball. As of the last couple games, he's been killing it for my fantasy team. Helped me win one of my championships last week. He's balling, man. So I know you don't sit up here and say, oh, we should have traded for him, because the price tag on him was a bit more than we wanted to pay. Probably a crippling price tag. So you don't take on a poison pill price tag just to get a player to help you. If it's going to cost you other pieces that you don't want to give up and all that, assets and stuff like that, the Hawks probably were never really serious about making a move. So that kind of reminded me of the Pelicans with Dale Demps doing that stupid crap that he did. That essentially put us in a position to where we weren't able to necessarily get AD the year we wanted to get him, because they were bluffing. That's exactly what the Hawks remind me of with DeJounte Murray, and I'm of the mindset that the Hawks are probably a team that's just not going to get very far because of how they move. They're going to have people mad at them when it's time to make trades that they need made. People ain't going to want to do deals with them, try to fleece them. So that's how I look at the Hawks. They're not a serious organization to me. We'll see what happens in the future if they try to move Trae Young. But nevertheless, for me, we just got to understand that this is a good Hawks team. They don't suck. They are also playing in the 10th seed situation, trying to desperately win, keep themselves from falling out. I don't think it's likely they fall out, but anything could happen. You know what I mean? And so for them, winning is probably the only path forward that is reasonable. And they run into a Laker team that's lackluster, if we're being honest about ourselves. We ain't that good right now. So they probably look at this as a winnable basketball game. We beat them last time. I think that's how that went. I don't actually remember how that game went. But whatever the case may be, I'm pretty sure they're coming in confident. And so if the Lakers are serious, man, you got to bring your A game against a team that you likely would be prone to fall asleep against. Oh, it's just the Hawks. No Trae Young. That type of stuff will get you beat every time. Jalen Johnson is healthy again. Been playing for 2 weeks now, since going out with an injury that kept him out for a couple of weeks. So he should be in a good shape right now to play a good game against us tomorrow. And I just wonder if the Lakers are going to be in a good position to be awake for this basketball game, especially if Anthony Davis don't show up. Clearly, we're not going to have anybody who can defend DeJounte Murray. Clint Capella's down there. Onyeka Okongwu's down there. So with DeJounte shooting very well right now, hitting everything he's shooting right now, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't win that game too. I'd not be surprised if we don't win that game as well. So Laker fans need to get their act together, man. Or rather, the Laker team does. Our act is fine, but this team is the game's at home, so hopefully the Hawks just come in and be kind of lagging on the road, far away from Atlanta. But I don't know. If I'm the Hawks and Kurt and Snyder, Coach Snyder, I'm feeling real good about walking into this place and potentially upsetting them Lakers, man. The Lakers ain't nobody, and that's the problem. That's kind of the attitude. All you gotta do is rough them up a little bit. They're gonna leave you open for threes. As long as the person you choose, they choose to leave open, hits the shot, you could have an open night all night from behind the arc. A guy like Bojan Bogdanovic, yeah, I expect that to be a big Bojan game tomorrow. Type stuff. So, man, just when you think to give up on the Lakers, they show up. But with AD having the issue he's having, potentially missing tomorrow's game, Bron scored 40. We still didn't win. I told y'all he don't affect winning like that. No matter how much it hurts people's feelings, that man can go for 48 and 9 and your butt still lost. It just is what it is. That's not me hating. That's what the data says. That's what it's been the whole damn season. We win the games that AD is in with Bron out, but we don't necessarily win the games where AD is out and Bron's in. It just is what it is. So if that's what we continuing to look at as a team, and AD don't play tomorrow, probably more of the same, man. Probably more of the same. So it's doom and gloom for me, man. I didn't have any idea that the Rockets were playing as well as they were until I checked the standings about 2 hours ago and saw that 5-game winning streak. And then it helped me understand that not only are we in position to fall to 10th or stay in 10th, but we could fall out. We could fall all the way out. So maybe it's for the best in the grand scheme of things. If Jeanie needs a good enough reason to get rid of a coach that is no good, this would be that. This would be that. And we fall all the way out of the damn playoffs. And, you know, I don't know, man. I don't know about Rob Pelinka going forward. The vision for this basketball team was never fully realized because of injuries, but that in and of itself was decisions to bring certain players in that are not going to be able to play for him. You don't know guys aren't going to be able to play for you, but a guy like Gabe Vincent, you really needed that not to happen. Because we already went through that, of course, with the Miami Heat and that last shooting guard we had, Kendrick Nunn. And so for him to go back and get another shooting guard there, pass up on the Jaime Hawkes and the Cam Whitmores, get Jalen Ushafino, when you know your timeline is win now, you're picking a player that ain't going to be ready for 4 years, who ain't going to be able to do some of the more athletic things that you're going to need. Not getting a center in here, after all these years of AD asking us to play the 4 spot, and we don't bring ourselves a legitimate center. This is a lot of stuff that went wrong, man. You didn't get Malik Monk to stay. You messed up the situation with Alex Caruso. You messed up the situation with Ty Lue. You know, it's just a lot of stuff that went wrong while he's been in control. And when you have Anthony Davis and LeBron James, I know it's not easy to build around them. And I've been telling us that for a couple of years now. And building around them is difficult as hell because essentially they both play the same position. If AD want to play the 4 and Bron needs to play the 4, you know what I mean? And they're both making $200+ million. It's hard to build around them. But that's why it's so important that you don't make certain types of mistakes when doing so. And those mistakes have been made. I like Rob, but I'm looking at him and I'm saying, man, going forward, I'm not really sure if you're going to be here, bro. If I have to make a decision, I'm not really sure what that decision would be. I like some of the moves he's made. I definitely like that Minnesota trade last year. Getting Rui Hachimura for a couple of second rounders I thought was pretty solid. Getting those guys to resign, him and Austin Reeves, and getting those guys to resign is good. But there's a big but to this situation. And the reality is, our team sucked this year, man. And the people he keep giving a mid-level exception to have been trash. Last time he gave a mid-level exception to none, it didn't work out. This time he gave a mid-level $15 million. I believe that's our mid-level. It may not have been. He might have gave that to Taurean Prince, who's also, he's been bad. You know, he's been good, but bad, if that makes any sense. And so it's like some of the choices that we've made for our roster, they ain't it. I don't know that another GM couldn't have made a better decision or done better decision, you know, better with what he was given. I don't know that. So if Bron does in fact leave, because that's really what a lot of this will come down to. If Bron does in fact decide to opt out and then proceeds to sign with somebody else, which I don't think is going to happen, but if we mess up negotiations with him, will happen. I don't know that Rob still has a spot here, man. I mean, of course, it comes down to what Jeanie wants to do. And Jeanie's hesitant to move on from him, I believe. And that may save his backside. Question is, will he deserve to stay? Not necessarily will Jeanie let him go, but will he deserve to stay? And I don't know the answer is yes anymore, man. I don't know that. So for me, as I look at you guys right now, I'm saying, man, I might be more comfortable moving on from Rob Pelinka, depending on who it is that might be available. I think it might not be the worst idea, man. For me, it comes down to all these unathletic players that he chose to bring to our team. That's what it really comes down to. for me. The Malik Monk thing, some of that was, those mistakes were tough. Caruso, that was a bad thing. Like, a lot of that is really bad. But this year's vision, a whole lot of unathleticism, a whole lot of smaller guy, just the roster ain't that good, man. I mean, I got enough layup ball guys. I got enough of that. Where are my athletic dudes? Where are my dunkers, man? I promise you, if he would have signed, or rather drafted Cam Whitmore, I have a different thing to say. Because Cam fell to us, picked him up, super athletic dude, he's powerful, slap him next to Rui, even if Bron's out, AD, now you got a powerful, fast break team, put pressure on the rim. That could have been a difference for me, personally. But him going with Jalen Hood-Schifino just made me just say, damn, like, that's really what it came down to. Like, I can't do this with him making these type of decisions for my rebuild. You understand what I'm saying? Not for my freaking rebuild. A GM has to have a certain eye for talent if I'm going to trust him with the revamping of my entire roster. And he had a hard time putting a really solid, strong team together. He brought in some personalities that are He brought in some dudes that are Some of these young players, they ain't developing properly. His coach ain't, whatever the case may be. A lot of that is Rob, man. These are Rob's responsibilities to make sure that these people are in place, man. And when we look at the center position and how much we're struggling with that, and you couple all this other stuff that's going on over the last 6 years, and you see that we've been to the finals one damn time with LeBron James, who goes to the finals every damn year. This has been the worst tenure he's had in any team he's been on. Fam, I don't know, Rob. I don't know, brother. I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't know, fam. I'm not all the way out on Rob, but this season's vision has irritated me to no end, bro. I'm just going to be honest with you. The vision for this roster this season, even if we were fully healthy, it's irritated me. It's really irritated me. And I told y'all that before we even got started. All these damn layup guys. All these damn unathletic guards. Layup. Jalen Hood-Schifino, layup. D'Lo, layup. Austin, layup. They're not athletic. They're not strong, man. Where's your respect for inertia and power? Where's the dudes that's gonna just dunk the damn ball, fam? Where are the guys that are gonna be faster than everybody else? When you know damn well we gotta go up against that type of speed. And even now, I gotta say this. I like Trae Young, but you do understand he falls into that category. A much higher level, but their vision is to bring in another layup dude who's gonna get pushed around like, nah, fam, no. Now's the time for us to look up and say, if we don't get some damn strength in here, mental strength and physical strength, then we're gonna be getting pushed around. And if that's the vision for the team, if we respect unathletic, high IQ, offensive but not defensive minded players, then we're always going to be getting pushed around so long as that's the vision of what it is we're putting together. If Bron James is going to be the most athletic player on the damn team, we always going to get pushed around, fam. Malik Monk was super athletic. He could dunk the ball, put pressure on the rim. Walker, Lonnie, dunking the ball, all that. Where is that? Why did all of that leave our organization for us to bring in a bunch of unathletic players who getting pushed mentally and physically around? I ain't happy. I am not happy. That's been part of the problem this year. It's just not loving what I see down there, man. And so I don't know if the Lakers need to revamp the whole thing. I don't know if it's too early to be frustrated like this with some of these young guys. But I'm very frustrated with the makeup of these guys, man. I don't want unathletic players, fam. I'm a dude that's gonna pick up the Cam Whitmore. I'm gonna want De'Aaron Fox. I'm gonna want the athletic dude. I'm gonna want that. Now I know that comes with a lot of stuff that ain't no good for you. You can end up having stupid athletic dudes who can only jump and they can't put 2 and 2 together. You don't want that either. But to have no athleticism, For your most athletic player to be LeBron damn James at 39 years old, something in the vision of your team is bad in that situation. Something went wrong. That should not be how it goes. And so for me, that's what I'm saying to all of you. We need some athleticism out there. We need some power, some strength, and mental strength as well. Can't keep bringing out these guys who have these lackluster personalities who may be easy to get along with, but also easy to push around. Just being real, because we got that already in Anthony. No disrespect to Anthony. I'm just pointing it out like I see it. Real nice guy, easy to push around. Ain't nobody putting no pressure on nobody to do nothing. Bron, nice guy. I like nice people around me. I ain't trying to go in a foxhole with him. You know what I'm saying? Seriously. This is why I wanted us to go get that center from the Spurs. What's his name? Collins, the ones that everybody can't stand. This is why I wanted him on the team. That is exactly why I wanted him on the team. And to a point, this is why I thought Darvin Ham was the right guy, because I thought he was like that. As most of us did. Oh, you don't play with Darvin Ham. Darvin Ham been through this, that, and the third in his personal life. Now he's been fighting his way through. You know, he's a guy that everybody respect. Ugh. He gonna push some people around. He gonna look LeBron in the eye and say, nah, you ain't playing 48 minutes tonight. You gonna sit. That ain't who that is, bro. It's the opposite of that. And it's like, yo, who's strong? Who is the personality who gonna lay down the law around here? Who's the guy who gonna look AD in the eye and say, bro, we have to push this person over? The Patrick Beverly in the room. Where he at? That's my problem. That's why I like Pat on the team, even though we couldn't use him right. I felt he was good for the locker room because he was gonna hold guys accountable. He gonna look somebody in the eye and say, nah, you ain't playing up to your standards. He gonna tell you, get back on defense. I ain't playing with none of y'all. Like that type of stuff. Where is that on this roster? And then another part of this roster that doesn't make any sense, as I told you at the beginning, we've got too many young players that are being asked to play better than they're expected to play this soon. Austin Reeves, what, year 3? We need him to act like he's in year 7. You know what I mean? That type of stuff. Jackson Hayes in year 3, having had played no minutes. Rui Hachimura in year 4, having hardly played any minutes. You're asking these dudes to be on a higher level than their experience can provide. And that's an underrated problem that the Lakers have right now. These dudes ain't ready to be who it is you need them to be. You could be mad at them for not being that. You can write them off. But at the end of the day, it's still early in their careers. And they're relying upon one another to play well. And they may do that sometimes, but when it really matters, that's not what you need. And then your vets, of course, outside of Bron and AD, Victorian Princes, average. And your coach ain't going to put him in a position to be at his best. He going to rely on them too much because of this conundrum I just described. You know? So it's like, that's why the team ain't that good, man. It's not that good because of all of this. So when you start thinking about what this team could do, or you're hopeful that they can overachieve, you do understand all of this is packed up against you. When expecting this team to be this or that, you do understand that these are the problems that you're going to run into when assessing this basketball club. Expectations of what you think is possible, they can't overcome all of this. Especially when you're going to have schematic choices made by the coach to do stupid stuff. Like leave people open on purpose who can shoot the ball very well. And then not change that plan when he sees it's not working. It's just too much working against these guys, man, from a night-to-night basis. And so for me, it's like, yeah, is the season over? Yes, is the answer. Yes, it may not be over yet, but at some point in time we get knocked off because there are better teams out there that should be able to push over what it is I just described. Assuming I wasn't a Laker fan and this was the Bucks or something, assuming this was just some random other team, I'd be like, hell yeah, they're getting pushed over. They're not that great of a team, man. They're not that great of a team. Shame on the NBA for not pushing them over. You know what I'm saying? You ain't supposed to be losing these dudes if you're certain teams in this league that are better than them. Boston Celtics better not lose to us in the finals. That's how real this is. Denver Nuggets better not lose to the damn Lakers. You better than them. Like, that's the unfortunate reality of my perception of who we are. Teams would be damn shame to lose to us. And so that's why we need to just start doing things differently. Maybe start the rebuild process. For those who are saying Bron AD has run its course, maybe it hasn't. But if you want to wait until it does to move on from it, that probably is a mistake. That's the truth. That's the truth of it. I'm not arguing that they don't have an opportunity to be able to build something special. I'm arguing that if you wait till they're not, you're gonna wish you didn't. That's what I'm arguing. You wanna wait till these dudes are washed to move on to a new process? I don't think that's the best path for the Lakers. I really don't. I think you want these guys to still have value so you can trade them for something. So while I do believe that we could put a nice team around Bron AD in the future, I also think that at any moment, one of them could be washed up, and then not be worth half of what they are right now. So the answer to those who are saying, can they win together? Probably, sure. If you put the right thing around them. Can Rob put the right thing around them? Nah, not what we've seen. Not based on what he has to work with. No. I think next year's team is going to be a little better than this or a little worse than this. But it ain't going to be significantly better. No. And they probably won't be significantly better because both of them are starting to age. So, no. You probably do best to get this over with here now, in this. And just redo the whole thing. Get the coach up out of there and get this core out of here. Get some of these players out of here that aren't worth a damn thing. And start building your draft equity. You know, start hoarding picks over the next 4 or 5 years. And a lot of people say, we don't want to go through that. I'm like, fam, you're going to go through it anyway. You're going to go through it anyway. You going to wait till these guys can't do it anymore? Or you want to cash out while they still have some value? Because you're going to go through it anyway. These dudes ain't young at all. Neither one of them. AD is the oldest 31 there is. He older. And Bron is already, man, he's going to be 40 in December. This ain't the situation where you can sit back and say, well, we can hold on a little longer. Not if you know what you're doing. You probably don't hold on any longer. Not especially if the front office is going to be hesitant to make very good common sense decisions, like don't pass up on the 5th overall prospect at 16 or 17th overall, and don't keep Darvin Ham, stuff like that, man. If they ain't gonna make the simple decisions that help them, then you already in your rebuild. You just in denial about where you are in your process. It's the truth. So that's really what I gotta say, man. I'm a frustrated Laker fan. I don't know if I'll call this a rant or a chat. I don't think I've been ranting too much. I've just been pointing out what's wrong here. And I'm telling y'all, the sooner you do what needs to be done, the sooner you'll have what needs to be in place. But as long as you keep kicking the can down the road, hoping for something to overachieve that is not able to, based on multiple problems coming from multiple directions, then you're just prolonging the inevitable and making it more difficult for your rebuild when you do. That's it. You can get mad at me for saying it. Ain't gonna change it. You know what I'm saying? Ain't gonna make you any better. You suck right now. So, at what point do you start saying, all right, we need to scrap all this crap? The Utah Jazz are in such an advantageous position, and it's not because of any other reason than they initiated their own rebuild a little sooner than necessary. They got rid of Rudy Gobert when he still had value, and they moved on from Donovan Mitchell to get a bunch of picks, which I don't know if I would have done if I were them, but I definitely know they're in a much richer position now because of it. They didn't wait for it to get completely washed. They didn't retool because they were afraid about whatever. No, they hired a shark of a GM who was going to hoard all the picks in the world, and then they immediately said, F all this garbage, fired everybody, including the coach, and now, in less than a year and a half time, because they got lucky with that Minnesota Timberwolves trade, they're probably one of the richest teams in the league in terms of draft equity and trade equity. They can make any trade they want to make right now. They can go back and get Donovan Mitchell and got double what they had for him in the process. What they had him on, that price tag, now they can have that and so much more because of what they did, and probably build something better with Donovan if they want to. They can do that. They can literally do that. And so for me, it's like, that's what a rebuild should be about. You do the right thing. You bring in that shark. You know what I'm saying? Who gonna hoard picks. You put out the word that that's what your intention is to get draft equity at all costs. And you accept the fact that you're gonna be bad for a couple of years for what you're already bad anyway, for your standards. You rebuild, retool, and do better. And in the process of that, understand what your purpose is in being bad. It ain't just to suck for a while. It's so that you can be in a position to strengthen yourself as a team from here on out, so you don't never find yourself in a situation where you can't make trades for players you won't get. Or you're never in a position to where you can't bring a great player to a great situation. That's why you're doing it. Hell yeah, it's a purpose in all of it. And so that's why I don't mind being bad next season, winning 10 games next season if our rebuild is going to be in place, because I know why I'm doing it. A reset to retool to get better. I'm not resetting because I just hate myself and want to lose. I'm resetting because I know that's what's going to get me to the space where my team has all that it needs to be better. So yeah, I'm ready for that. I'm ready. Thank you, Bron. Thank you, AD. Thank you, Darvin, or whatever. How it, I want everybody going at this point. And retool this whole thing, man. Bring me a shark of a GM with the intention of retooling, restarting my rebuild, upstarting my rebuild is what I'm trying to say. Give me all the picks I can possibly get for all of these people. And let's replenish our very own picks as well. No more trading picks for anything at all. And by the year 2027, we'll be just bad enough, unfortunately, to get the first overall pick, and whoever's the best player that year, we'll be having him in a position to either be our restart tool or trade him for whatever it is we want. Having the first overall pick to do so. That's how you do this, man. Don't move forward with people waiting for them to get too old so that you can feel good about yourself and whatever the hell this is. I don't know what that is, but I'll tell you right now, this team, it's reached this peak, and it ain't just because of AD and Bron necessarily being over the top or anything. It's because of all the different stuff that we have in place that's prone to do stuff that ain't no good. Video 44. I thank y'all for watching.